Moving on to our next set of panel discussion. The digital revolution has touched nearly every aspect of our lives. More than 3.5 billion people have access to the internet, and more than 5 billion are estimated to have some sort of mobile device, with half of them being smartphones. This level of connectivity has influenced how many people engage with others, get their news, and see the world around them. It is no wonder, therefore, that these digital transformation trends have also heavily impacted the education industry. From primary school educators through those in higher education, the digital transformation has affected classrooms and how these teachers reach their students. These changes have been accelerated by the COVID-19 pandemic, which closed schools in countless countries around the world. In an effort to help students keep learning, many schools and teachers turn to technology to obviously help bridge this gap. Our next panel discussion is on digital transformation, how technology is shaping the future education. Our first panelist for this discussion is Professor Raj S. Dhankar, Vice Chancellor, Apeejay Satya University. Professor Dhankar has held responsible administrative positions like CEO, Higher Education, Apeejay Education Society, New Delhi, Vice Chancellor, Maharishi Dayanand University, Rohtak, Haryana, and many more in the past. He holds PhD and PDS in the area of finance. Professor Dhankar, a thought leader and institutional builder, is the ex-dean of the prestigious Faculty of Management of Studies, FMS, University of Delhi. Professor Dhankar has been visiting professor at Lakehead University, Canada, chair professor of finance at Ansal University, and is the professor emeritus, School of Management Sciences, Apeejay Satya University. We welcome you, sir. I would now like to invite on stage our second panelist, Mr. Sandeep Bhatia, Director Sales, Accops System Private Limited. Sandeep carries 25 plus years of experience across technology, integration, cloud information security, and network, with expertise in government and enterprise customers. Do we have Mr. Bhatia here? Welcome you on stage, sir. Our next panelist, Mr. Vivek K. Srivastava, CIO, ExamOnline. As the co-founder of Diversified Business Solutions Private Limited and the CIO of ExamOnline, Vivek has been successful in establishing a niche and state-of-the-art platform delivering end-to-end cloud-based online exam and assessment solutions. Their assessment platform, ExamOnline, has been selected as one of the top 20 education technology providers in India. Let's welcome Mr. Vivek K. Srivastava. And saving, I think, the best maybe for the last, our final panelist, Sabyasachi Mukherjee, Education Transformation Lead at Lenovo. Sabyasachi Mukherjee is an accomplished sales leader with a strong operating background, with over 22 years of wide exposure in various education landscapes. His areas of expertise include strategy and business development in K-12, higher education, edtech, and startups. His last stint was with Harappa Learning as Regional Director Institution. He has also led leadership roles in Pearson, Team Lead, V Technologies, and Merit Track. Currently, he is leading the India Education Transformation Conversation with customers in Lenovo India, the world's largest PC maker and an emerging PC Plus leader. We welcome you, Mr. Mukherjee, on stage. And to moderate this discussion, I now invite Anil Chopra, Vice President, Research and Consulting, CMR. Mr. Chopra, please, inviting you on stage.
Good afternoon and welcome. Thank you for joining us for this discussion. I think an interesting context that was set, and we all know what happened over the past 3 years, where I think no other sector would have faced this level of disruption that the education sector did, where the whole purpose of the education is being questioned, that students can no longer go to the college or school to study. I think that is a level of disruption that was the institutes faced, but I'm glad that the institutes kind of came out of it. They managed to come out with solutions, shifted to digital. I don't think anybody would have shifted at this pace as this sector did. So, but the point here is, of course, that digital is the future, technology is the future, but at the same time, technology is not the only thing that is really required for the sector to kind of move up. So we want to talk about how technology is going to impact the future of education, and of course other aspects that are also important. So let me start off with you, Professor Dhankar. I think maybe you want to give us an overview of, there's all this disruption that has happened. So after that, now that things are back on track, what are some of the things that, are now permanent in the education sector, and, what was really temporary? Maybe you want to give us an overview of that.
Thank you, Anil. Good morning, everyone, and it's my pleasure to be a part of this interactive session. When we think of technology in the field of education, it's very much, of course, required, and it's a great enabler and a leveler at the same time. Why I say enabler? We have seen the value add wherever we have used technology in the field of education, be it in terms of helping us to reach out to a larger pool of students and increasing the gross enrollment ratio, which we need very, very badly in our country, as we still hang around about 33-34%. In other words, out of 10, 7 students after passing out from school still can't get to the doors of colleges and universities. Whereas the same ratio in North America and Europe is 75%. So by using technology, we certainly have increased this gross enrollment ratio over the period of years. I do recall 7-8 years ago, it used to be 22-23%. So that's the way I consider it a great enabler. Enabler also in the sense that wherever we have used technology, we have done value add. In whatever field, not only in the field of sciences, but in the field of management even. I am a student of management. I was in FMS as I was introduced, the dean there. And where I was the dean from 2011 to 2014, one day a Bloomberg representative called on me and said, "Sir, would you like to have Bloomberg Terminal Lab in your school?" I said, well, incidentally, I've been in US, I was at UCLA in Graduate School of Management, and I've seen the importance of training students hands-on on computers, because that's what industry needs. All the multinational companies, the investment banks, they need students who are industry ready. So if our graduates are not industry ready, they don't get that kind of a placement. So by that time only IIM Bangalore has done it. So I said, although I'm in Delhi University and it's not easy to get funding from here, but I would certainly consider it. So Professor Dinesh Singh was the Vice Chancellor, a friend. I requested him. I said, we make so much money for you in Delhi University. Can you not give us some amount of money to set up this lab? And he agreed, and we did that. Now believe me this, by establishing that Bloomberg 3 terminal, we got 3 licenses, every license brings 3 terminals. So we got 9 terminals. So in Delhi University for the first time, we would have live data 7/24, 30 days in a month, 365 days in a year, live data of all the world stock markets and economy. And how it helped our scholars. A lot of doctoral students would get the correct data, edited data, adjusted data, and their research paper were good. Our MBA students were trained right on terminals, and next year their placement went up by 20%. That's what I call value add in technology. I come from management, so I don't know about science. Science, of course, you have technology and what kind of experiments and new researches you can bring in a shorter time and more accuracy. So technology certainly has proved to be a great enabler and value adder. There's no question about it. In the times to come, as I said, in our own country, if you have to move fast enough, Because one of the biggest challenge in higher education is putting more students in college and universities. And the only way our physical infrastructure is not adequate enough. Putting up a new building, a new college, takes crores and crores of money. Land is not available in Delhi or in big cities. It's very costly. Therefore, using technology, we have to go online in digital form, as NEP also, UGC also suggests that we have to have online universities, digital universities. So you can't run a digital university unless you use great technology. And it is through, even UGC chair says, it is through digital universities we can move fast enough to increase our gross enrollment ratio, close to 40%. And along with that, we can also improve the quality of education. That's another challenge. Look at our publications, the quality, our ranking in the top world 100 universities is very, very low. We don't figure out there. And when we travel abroad and we see how their labs and their classrooms are so tech savvy, here we still lack that. And that's how those graduates end up getting such a big amount of value add and get jobs. I was listening, someone in the audience said, parents these days, of course always, but more so now with a lot of money, tend to send their children abroad for higher studies. Why do they do so? Because of the environment they have, the great infrastructure they have, the great technology they have. In a shorter period of time, they could do more value add. We don't need 2 years to do MBA. In 1 year we could do much more value add than 2 years. Because if 2 years is only theoretical, industry doesn't need that. Even if you do a 6-month intensive diploma or a course in a functional area, it becomes more valuable than a 2-year MBA degree, if that degree is theoretical. And that's why so many management schools have fallen on the wayside, are getting closed. So differentiating factor is certainly one of the factors, I would say, is technology. Yeah.
Thank you, Professor Dhankar. I think perfect, you have mentioned that technology is now a leveler. That's a very important point that you have made. What's important is to have the value adds. And of course, you cannot keep investing in infrastructure, so that's why you have to go online. So which is where I come to you, Sandeep. Because what's happening is, if you look at, the education system, everyone has access to the same technology. So it's become highly competitive. And you have to have the differentiator. So what is it, how can it really help institutes? What are your views on it, on make the best use of their resources, so that, they can actually share their expertise with others, they can encourage participation from more number of students and not just the one sitting in the university itself or the college itself. How can really technology help over there in this age of competition?
Thanks, Anil, and good morning to all of you. So, Anil, you used the word resource. What resource means? Resource is nothing but capex and opex, right? In order to develop the infrastructure, as professors have just mentioned, a lot of investment is required to have this, this resources enabled and available. And then there's a lot of money required in running those resources. So what we need as a country, we need, any technology. Then secondly, what happens is not only once you develop it, there's a lot of technical advancement happening. So many new things are coming. So there's always a pressure on the infra as to how they should cope up. So that the students are able to, expose to the cutting edge technology of today's environment. So obviously technology is required where, which is very prudent, which is cost effective, which helps in leverage of the resources which are currently available. So that's the key word, that the resources which are currently available, how to ensure that you are able to leverage on it. So technology is required for that. And it also helps in developing skills amongst the students where they are innovative. They themselves come up with a new idea. So we have to give them the ground to be innovative. yeah, depending on what is available in the technology today, and they have to come up with their entrepreneurial skills as well. So these are the areas where actually technology has to play a major role today. We as Accops, while there are so many tools available, to encourage this, but as Accops we have got one product, Accops High Labs. This product is specifically designed for universities, colleges, L&D labs, where we can help them, create, manage and maintain their ICT infra in a virtualized environment. What it means that as the user, whether it's a faculty member or is a student, they are able to assess the labs on a real-time basis. That too from anywhere they want to do. So there is no compulsion that you have to be in your college or in your campus. You can work from anywhere. From anywhere you can access from whatever device, from whatever network. It's all neutral. So this is one product which is very much happening. In case you look at Japan, Japan has taken this product in many of the universities. In fact, Tokyo University, which is the second largest university of Japan, is using this product. Yeah, and this also automates provisioning, orchestration, and also you can have your curriculum based material available on real time and best part is you have the flexibility to make it your own way. So the professors or the lecturers, they can design the labs they want to make it. So there's a lot of flexibility with them. Thirdly, whatever are the ideal resources, with this technology you can use those resources for some other purposes. For example, you can use it for research scholars. You can say these are the resources available. So this technology plays a very vital role there as well. For students, the best part is with this they can schedule their own timetables. So whenever they are available, whatever time they want to study, they can use the labs. So that is another benefit to the students. Virtualization is the technology behind this product, which helps not only in cost reduction, but it also helps in giving the real-time experiences. It helps in using your own devices. There is a lot of benefit of using own devices, because as universities you don't have to spend too much of time on and energy and money on getting the infra, and not only buying it but also maintaining the management of the endpoints is also a cumbersome process. So you are away from all those. Yeah, sorry. So you don't have those challenges with you. So in nutshell, what I'll say for the students, the best part is the flexibility, the timings. They don't have to travel. They can use this product from their home, from campuses, or wherever they are, and that too from their own device, which is more comfortable for them rather than going to using a shared infra. For faculty, the best part is that they can use this product to design their own curriculum, their own labs they can design, they can manage it, they can maintain it. And that too, it does not require any expertise. You don't need any knowledge of IT infra. So it is plug and play type of solution which is available to faculties as well. To the institute, what it means is that they don't have to incur too much cost on endpoints, and they are able to give the online experiences to their students, that to the latest technologies. So the change management is very easy. Whatever new technologies are coming can be immediately absorbed by this. You can upgrade yourself at very minimal cost, even within minutes. I'm not saying even hours and days or weeks or months. Within minutes you can upgrade yourself to the latest technology. This is what I think the technology is coming up. And in India, many IITs have already started, getting into this, using this technology. Worldwide, this technology is very much there. Japan is one of our customers, where we have number of universities using this product.
Thank you. I think that's an interesting digital innovation that you've actually talked about, that is being used to be able to enhance learning across students. You talked about people not having to come to college, they can actually work from anywhere. That's a key aspect of, I think, technology, how it really helps give a value add to universities.
Definitely. So
Yeah.
ultimately, if you look at, pandemic has just not ended. In fact, I was reading today's newspaper yesterday. Again, there is a red alert in India after China, US, and so many
Yes.
countries getting the blip. So it's the right time. You may have the technologies already in place, but are those technologies the best technologies you are using? Is it something that is it geared enough for future? Is something you need to assess, and then you need to find a solution to it before, God forbid, any next wave or any next issue comes up.
Absolutely. Yeah, I'll come back to that and we'll discuss more on that. But let me move on to Vivek. In terms of digital innovation, since you talked about digital innovation, so Vivek, you want to add on to what Sandeep is saying in terms of what are some of the other digital innovations that education institutes are embracing, not only to enhance learning but also assessment for their students, because I think both are equally important.
Yeah, very true. So far we've talked a lot about the education, the part of imparting the education to the students, right? But the holistic education will cover a 360-degree feedback mechanism where the best students will come to those institutions where they get the best knowledge, and they probably get the best of the jobs, and that the motivation to the student will happen when they know what are the factors that they are going to be assessed on. So if the assessment is going to be a purely theoretical based assessment, then it leaves very little motivation to the student to actually get into the deep practical education that probably the facilities are available, but whether they do it or not. So that's where the innovations in the assessment part comes into the play. And since the digital transformation is enabling the students to learn from anywhere at any time, so the same thing should percolate down to the assessment part, where they can get assessed anytime and from anywhere whenever they think that they are ready. So it's not something like fixed. Okay, today is the assessment that needs to happen. You have to come to this place, write your answer, things like that. And that's where a lot of innovation is taking place, using artificial intelligence, virtual reality, to assess the students on their knowledge, on their theoretical skills, as well as on the true skills that are required by the industry, the practical skills. And this is a place where, fortunately, we are investing a lot to prepare or to make ready platforms which can be used for assessments, in the transformed era of the, I would say, knowledge or education that is going to happen.
All right. Yeah, thanks a lot, Vivek. I think good to have a discussion around so many different innovations that are there. Sabyasachi, I think you have worked with a lot of institutes and have a lot of experience with working with them and transforming them with technology and all that. So would love to hear your viewpoints on some of the new opportunities that now technology is really offering to reshape the institutes, that they can offer new things to their students, new opportunities to their students. How is it really helping enhance the quality of education?
Yeah, good morning, everybody. Let me go back during the pandemic days. Obviously, I was involved in interacting with maybe 200, 300 plus universities and institutions during that point of time. Yes, first of all, hats off to the entire education fraternity, because I have seen them change from what they were not there, right, what they were not ready for. Starting from the primary schooling to the secondary to the universities and the colleges, be it the engineering, the management. There were schools, colleges, teachers, they were not ready for the digital movement. But I have seen them, they have adapted change. And I think that is exactly what stays with us. It is all about changing with times. We have seen colleges, they have embraced technology, and what technology has done today is during that point of time where students were at remote locations, uninterrupted education was provided to them, obviously through digital transformation. And I think that is exactly what has happened during pandemic. Yes, coming back to what are the new innovations in the education landscape, absolutely yes. We have seen data science coming up very well. We have seen AR and VR coming up well, obviously yes. I see a lot of movement and happening in the artificial intelligence area. In Asia Pacific also, there are a lot of schools, in fact, the primary schools and the secondary schools who are implementing the AR and VR labs. In fact, in India also, we are having very interesting discussions with few of the universities in setting up center of excellence in AR and VR. And I think obviously technology is going to change very fast, and Lenovo is there, it's a world leader, and we do invest a lot to keep pace with the changing technology. Absolutely yes, we are there to transform the education landscape digitally. Thank you.
Thank you so much. But I think, it's really interesting to hear about all the, that technology has to offer and how it can actually reshape the education sector. And I'm glad to see that, a lot of the education institutes are actually embracing it. But there is one core issue that I think is still troubling a lot of the institutes. That is called employability, right? Which is, in fact, according to various reports, and this one I'm talking about, one from World Economic Forum, which says that 13 million students in India join India's workforce every year. That is the number that is joining. Unfortunately, out of this, only 1 in 4 management students, 1 in every 5 engineers, and 1 in 10 graduates is actually employable. That is the state. Now the point is, how can technology make students more employable across various streams, and how can institutes actually bridge this gap? Maybe you can quickly answer, and then I'll move to Professor Dhankar.
Sure.
I just would love to hear the university's point of view on that.
Yeah, in fact, I was hearing the last session where Dr. Kirti was mentioning about the employability assessment. In fact, the research what NASSCOM had done way back in 2007-8. In fact, I was a part of that group along with Merit-Track. So Merit-Track and NASSCOM during that point of time came out with the employability quotient. So obviously, if you have to slice and dice and understand what is employability, we talk about, okay, 60-70% of the students are not employable. Yes, absolutely. But when we say that they are not employable, what exactly do we mean? Obviously, yes, they are being tested on multiple areas. Tech is one area they have been tested, obviously soft skills, interpersonal skills, and obviously their core subjects. Most of the students today who are not employable, they actually flunk in the area of interpersonal skills. They don't have the required leadership skills, maybe they don't have the required communication skills, even though they have the required tech skills. And obviously tech is help them in improving a lot. So what happens is, obviously, and yes, we grade them as not being employable. So I would like to go back maybe at a secondary level. See, we talk about obviously, and this data what we have is majority for the engineering students. So what happens is that the perception, we have to understand the perception of the parents. That's very, very important. Today, the perception is that unless and until I take up science, I will not be able to earn money and I will not be able to have a great job. And that perception still stays with us. And that obviously that movement is happening towards the engineering. Let's understand one thing, that students and parents are today not aware of multiple career opportunities available in the humanities, in the commerce or any other segment. People are only talking about engineering. In engineering, I have seen students who join engineering or rather have joined engineering without having the required numerical ability, scientific acumen. They are getting into engineering, somehow they are crossing the line and they are not getting the required jobs. Why? So what do we need? See, we have some 10,000 plus engineering colleges. Are we producing quality engineers? Are we producing quality scientists? I think that's not the case at this point of time. There are 60-70% of the engineers who have got into or rather gets into odd jobs. Are we in the right track? I think a very, very important thing here is that the entire training curriculum at any level has to be job oriented. Obviously, there has to be capstone projects which has to be implemented. The internships, what is offered to the students will have to be a firm internship designed in collaboration with the industry, and I think that is where we will succeed.
Thank you, Srivastava. I think Professor Dhankar, you got a real good background set now for the employability and how can technology actually bridge this gap. Would love to know your views about how our universities really doing this.
Well, this is a $1 million question actually, because personally I have been in academics for more than 45 years in a management school, and I've seen in our country how various policies, various reforms, various initiatives over the years have tried and make a difference. But unfortunately, we have not been sincere enough to implement them. And hence the value add or the nurturing that students needs to have to be industry ready, we have failed in that. Partly at the macro level, we have not followed a very cohesive policy. Look at AICT, for example. I am no critique of that, but at least in the public platform. They opened engineering institutes left and right, management school left and right, without even caring for the need of it or the demand for it. And parents thought, as my colleague said, hey, let my child be engineer or the MBA and the world will be under his or her feet. It could have been under feet, but unfortunately, the institute that we opened, they were not the worth of a paper on which that institute name was written, because they didn't provide the infrastructure, neither the faculty, nor the ecosystem, nor the rigor in academics, and hence after a few years, when more institute came up, the demand and supply sort of forces took over, the weak closed down. And that was a big, big loss to the great entrepreneurs who thought, let's do some kind of a good service to the nation by opening institutes or make money as well along with it. And then you have a situation where we as an academic also failed our country because we didn't work hard to improvise, innovate, change course curriculum, what the market forces would need or the industry needed, because there was no pressure on us. You get promoted after X number of years, why should I work hard? In government setup, your salary is fixed, why you work hard? Since we were opening in institutes at a very larger pace, so even a less mortal or less qualified become a full professor. Whether he was capable or not, he became a full professor, because we needed more people. Now it is such a mixed case now to even discuss this, because it may take a long time to really discuss this, why we have such a huge unemployment situation in our country. Yes, I agree, out of 100, only 15-20% really can be employed, because rest don't have a skill sets. Now those yes, technology can play an important role into that, and it has, as I said early on in my remarks, and we should continue to work on it. But in our country, we keep on sort of making experiment with education sector so fast that we are not able to really comprehend it and put in place. We have now NEP. And a lot of expectations on the part of academic institutions. I still had a private university. I have earlier was in Delhi University, of course, that's the biggest public funded university. But the real crux of the matter is that we have to bring, in my personal view, more sincerity of purpose in academic institutions, more fairness in evaluation and appraisal, more fairness in promoting people. And unless we really reinvent or relook and revisit the whole systems and processes, it will be very difficult on the part of the faculty to really impart the desired knowledge. That's point number one. Point two is, I don't really fully agree that students, if they lack communication skill or interpersonal skills, they are not employable. Fundamental thing, in fact, today, I go to a class and they speak better English than I do. They are more smarter, thanks to social media, internet, and many other opportunities, unlike in our times. When we, in our times, appeared for TOEFL or GMAT 30 years ago, there was no tape or a message which we can listen and improve our dialect or a language. How you go to US or England for higher studies, and it was a huge challenge, and we failed into it. But today, even a high school graduate speaks very fluent English. The students are not being able to employ it because they, even in a basic level, don't have a conceptual clarity of the subject. I am in business school. I have seen employer coming, and they said, "Look, professor, your students do not understand the basic concept." At times, and I'm talking about FMS, which is ranked in the first 10 business schools of the country. What about rest of the thousands and thousands of business schools? I'm saying with experience. So we have not really imparted that rigorous knowledge, hands-on experience, practical-based teaching. Look at still, in an engineering school, for example, it's more like 60-40. 60% theoretical input, 40% in the lab. It should be 80-20 or 90-10. Go to any American or Canadian or European university in an engineering school. The professor is 90% of his time in the lab. He teaches students in the lab only. Now here I, as an engineering professor, do my job and get my salary by teaching through even PPT or something like that. Most of the professors do not go to labs because they have not improved over a period of time, and they feel threatened because you go and do experiment by your hand. A 12th class pass technician is more confident in the lab than a professor. So how then an engineering college would be able to provide jobs? This is a real challenge. That's why many engineering colleges have closed down. It's an unfortunate situation in our country that we have not built that kind of an ecosystem in the education system where there is enough pressure on faculty to deliver. There is enough pressure on students to really work 18 hours a day, because only then you will get A grade. And also on this, I would like to even sort of spare a thought on the industry. Many people are from the industry. See, look, 20 years ago, I feel there were a lot of companies in the public and private sector both. They used to have their in-house training programs. And we in FMS used to go to BHA, ONGC, NPC, private sector, all of it, very regularly. IIMs also used to do that. How many today have the right after induction of a training, a student goes for a trainee, they immediately expect him to deliver next day. They don't invest into training that fellow. Earlier it used to do that. So there is a corporate social responsibility on the part of the industry is also responsible for lack of employment. Because they have their own bottom line. profit margin getting impacted with a lot of competition out there. Merger and acquisition is very fast. The life sort of span of a business is getting shorter and shorter and shorter. He says, I don't have time, I don't have money to invest on this guy. I need who is industry ready. Industry ready institutes are not able to provide. So parents and families are sandwiched. They suffer. Because students, they invested lakhs and lakhs on that, particularly in the private universities, and not getting jobs. So our society as a whole is responsible. Why our children are not getting jobs? This is my view. While the regulators have failed on the one hand, academia has failed on the other hand, corporate has failed on the other hand.
Because of corruption.
Well, sir, corruption, well, let's not talk, that's a bigger issue, I mean, another level of stuff. But I'm saying sheer citizens' responsibility and accountability for which you are paid for, that is not being performed. And then they go abroad and other things happen, so that's a mixed bag. And certainly technology can help into getting students more, providing more skill sets. I fully agree, the leadership quality, the holistic growth is equally important. You may not have all the skill set today, but you have the desire to grow, the leadership quality, the holistic growth, which NEP talks about. The liberal arts education is the basis and philosophy on which the whole leadership growth is based, is very much required as well. So how many institutes can afford to do that? How many institutes? But NEP, they'll be forced to start all those liberal art courses. Liberal art courses not in a degree sense, but integrated into your main, number of courses a child has to take. We at Apeejay Satya University, I think, although I don't want to promote it, but I'm fortunate enough to say on the platform that Apeejay Satya University was the first university in this country 12 years ago established, from day one followed the liberal art philosophy. Ashoka University gives a degree in liberal arts. We don't give a degree. We follow the liberal arts which America does, American university do. And that's why our students are really a well-rounded kind of personality students, a holistic growth, which we need very strong. When we say engineering student in our Apeejay Satya University also takes course in design, in journalism, in management. So 11 courses we ask him to take from other streams, and rest of the credits out of 160 we ask him to take from the mainstream. So when he comes out, as my colleague was saying, he really becomes a very well-rounded personality, and he succeeds more in the long run. I'm not saying short run, long run. He becomes a better leader wherever he goes. So we need that, plus the more rigor at the conceptual level, at the school level. Students have to, be made to really faint in the corridors of the university because they have not done their homework, or they are so fearful. Tomorrow they can't go to school or attend a class because they have not done the assignment. That fear is not there. They just go and hang around without even a bag or a notepad or something like that, as if they're in some kind of a mall they are going. That culture is not right. Hence, we have to really revisit the whole thing. Thank you.
Thank you, Professor Dhankar. I think we have about 5 minutes, so I'll request the other panelists to keep the answers brief, and because we want to bring that discussion on technology, I think you raised some very valid points around, besides technology, a lot of other things are required to make students more employable. But, and you talked about industry. So Vivek, you want to give a point on, how can really the industry help institutes improve, employability, maybe from a curriculum point of view, what can be done?
Yeah, sure. So I think, Professor Dhankar has already touched a lot of things on what needs to be included in the curriculum, but I'll pick up one point where he said fairness in the assessment and evaluation, and that is something that, needs to be done on a continuous basis on all the aspects, not only the core subjects, and that is where technology will play a role. By you will create a lot of data, you will analyze a lot of data, and then you will be able to take, improve your further processes on that. And that is where the engagement with the industry, and when I say industry, it's not only the big TCS and Infis of the world, because lot of innovation takes place in the smaller organizations, and if you engage those kind of industries, smaller organizations, you would perhaps get your students will probably get into what is actually happening in the industry today.
Right. So besides assessment, Sandeep, you want to talk about some other specific tools, or maybe collaboration techniques and all that are that are available from tech companies to kind of enhance this curriculum?
Sure. I think we have Professor Saab has already covered most of the aspects, probably by Sabachi and Vivek as well. I'd like to touch upon one subject that, overall personality is softer skills, leadership skills, communication skills, theoretical knowledge, one should be very clear conceptually on what he is studying. This, if added along with the industry exposure, see, today's students are very smart. More than us, they are aware of what is happening in technology. But there is something still they are missing. So as educationists, if we are able to find out what is happening and able to give them that exposure, that will be a value added, advantage to them. Because when they actually students go, because we all have been students at one point of time, we have been through those campus placements, so we know what are the pressures they are going through. So overall personality also includes how they are updated on what is happening in their field in today's world. So technology is evolving, new things are coming up. We need to embrace those new technological changes, guide them on them. Apart from that, I think a lot of interaction with industry has to happen, which is missing. So it happens just a tick mark. Have we done so many projects, have we done so many assessments or assignments? Are we actually going to the industry and asking them what are the core problems they are facing? Are we encouraging our students to go and solve those problems, to come up with their innovative ideas, where everything is available, corporate has everything available, industry has everything is available. They can go and do the, trials can be done. A lot of collaboration can be done at that level, where the student should be encouraged to expose to the corporate genuine actual problems on ground. So that will give a different level of confidence to the student while they enter the corporate world. That is what I believe. So projects and doing internships, these are regular things. But encouraging them to go and solve live problems is something which will definitely help. That's what I believe in. Thank you.
Thank you, Sandeep. Sabya, Sachi, I think we have about 2 minutes left, so I'll request you to maybe conclude and give your perspectives finally on how you see technology in terms of making students more employable in institutes. What are some of your views from a technology point of view? You could
absolutely. Technology plays a very, very important role. I completely agree with the panelists here. I think it's very, very important that that the students are given real-time knowledge more than the theoretical knowledge. I think that is very critical here, and I think that piece is missing. There are applications, for example, virtual labs, which have come up, which gives a simulation of all the subject areas. I think those ones will have to be implemented. More internship in companies, in industries, will have to be implemented, and these are absolutely, I agree with you, sir. These are not for the sake of tick mark in a box. There has to be a proper plan. A very, very important thing is students getting the practical knowledge, and that is where the practical knowledge will get applied. Again, one more important thing is the NEP has introduced the FYUP, the 4-year UG program. Which culminates with, I believe, the humanities program in the last year. Professor Dhankar absolutely mentions bang on. I think integrating engineering program or any other program with humanities, which will give a holistic development for the students, and they can go back to the industry and perform. I agree. From the industry perspective, yes, people need student to be billable from day one. That's very, very important, because obviously profits are a part and parcel of their entire landscape. So if they have to be billable from day one, students will have to understand how to perform well, how to understand how to basically gel into a corporate environment. If we implement this in the long run, I'm sure the overall employability percentage will come down.
Thank you, Sabyasachi. I think great way to conclude. I think some excellent points have come up. You know, besides technology, a lot of other things are required to make students more employable. And I think technology has a role to play. It has leveled the field for everyone. So it's interesting to see now how things move up. I'd like to thank you all. Unfortunately, we don't have time for Q&A. Otherwise, we would have taken a question. Maybe we can take questions offline. So thank you, gentlemen. I think it was wonderful discussion. Having an interaction with you. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Anil. Thank you all the panelists for such an invigorating discussion.